In this episode, we would be talking about some important points that we need to remember while setting rules for the kids and how we can help our kids follow rules. In the previous episode, we talked about why it is important to set rules for kids. Now, let's take a look at some important points that we need to remember while creating rules for the kids. The first is you need to involve kids in setting up rules. Have you ever had a boss who commanded your every move and didn't want to hear your inputs? It feels horrible. I can bet you wanted to rebel and there was a power struggle. So don't be that boss. Instead, involve your kids in setting rules. This would make your children feel respected and valued. Plus, you'll have some good ideas from your kids. Let's take a few examples. Let's say your kid has 30 minutes TV time. So you can ask your kid, 30 minutes is your TV time. What time would you like to watch TV? Similarly, you can plan for household chores, homework and study time, or bedtime. Second thing you should remember is set clear and consistent rules. When you're setting up rules, it should give a clear message to kids. For example, don't say, be a good boy. Talk about the kind of behavior you expect, like no hitting or hurting others. Don't snatch others' toys or share your toys and take turn while playing games. Similarly, you should provide details around rules that you are creating. Second thing is consistency. For example, let's say kid hits parents at home. Now parents take it casually because that is not causing any injury to them. Now, if a child does the same thing outside house, it becomes very embarrassing for parents and they shout at kids. Now the child is confused that if he was doing the same thing at home, no one said anything. But why parents are angry now? That's the reason parents should be consistent about rules. Next is give reason for your rules. See, now if you set rules without giving reasons, child would not understand why he's being asked to do something. Giving reason is essential to set moral compass of your child. Maybe your child won't understand it the first time, but gradually he'll start understanding why he's been asked to do something. This is essential for his long-term behavior shaping. Let's take an example. Let's say you want your kid to close the door when he comes in or goes out. Now, if you explain it to your kid that you want him to close the door because if he doesn't do that, mosquitoes would come in and bit him. And this would make him fall sick and he would not be able to eat his favorite food or go out for play. That's the reason it is critical to give reason for the rules that you're setting up. See, once you are done with setting up rules, you need to help your kids follow rules. First is remind rules. Even if you set rules, it's not that your kids would always be able to remember rules. So it's essential to remind them of rules time to time. Now, most of the time, parents are able to sense when their child is going to violate rules. So before he does that, you can stand close to your kid and remind him the rule. Let's take an example. Your kid is watching a TV and you know that it's his favorite show and he won't stop after 30 minutes. So 10 minutes in advance, you can stand close to your kid and remind him that now 10 minutes of your TV time is left. So be mindful of that. Otherwise, if you abruptly switch off the TV, he would get frustrated and out of control. Next is praise. So whenever you find your kid following rules, you should praise your kid. This would motivate your kid to repeat that behavior. Just consider this example. Whenever someone praises you for something, you want to repeat that behavior. As a human, we all need praise. And psychology says that praise is the most important tool in behavior shaping. Next tool for helping your kid to follow rules is creating a checklist. See, a checklist is a tool used to keep a track of tasks, items, or steps that need to be completed or considered. It's a simple and effective way to ensure that nothing is overlooked or forgotten. So it's not possible for kids to remember everything that you want them to do. So it's important to create a checklist so that they can track their progress. Okay, so let's consider this example. Your child goes to school in the morning and you want him to complete a few tasks on his own. So you can create a checklist so that your kid can track his progress, what all he has done and what all he has to do. In this way, we can help our kids follow rules. Next tool is to teach your kid to calm down. See, when your kid is angry, it's impossible to remember anything. Forget about the rules. So it's important to teach your kid to calm down. So you can show him a behavior that whenever you are angry, you are deep breathing so that you can calm down your brain and think again. And if you start practicing it with your kids, definitely your kid would follow you and do the same. You can make it a rule in your family that whenever someone is angry, they should first deep breathe and calm down themselves and then talk to the other person. Because we know that when we are angry, our left brain stops working and our right brain overpowers our left brain. So our emotions are high and our logical system has almost shut down. Deep breathing helps us calm down and integrate both our brains so that we can again think logically. Now, this applies to you as well as to kids. If your child has made a mistake and you're so angry on your kid that you almost want to beat him, then take a moment, pause, and deep breathe. Tell your kid that right now you're not in control and you will talk to him once you have calmed down. Child would observe you and then he would learn to model your behavior. The second method through which you can calm yourself is changing the perspective. Let's say your kid makes a mistake. He breaks something. It's bound to irritate you and make you angry. But instead of becoming angry, you can change perspective of the situation. To give you an example, I used to travel 400 kilometers from my city to another city via train. And during the journey, I would meet a lot of kids. They were so restless, they would keep shaking their legs and put dust on my pants. And this would make me so irritated. After some time, I changed my perspective. I observed that in such a crowded and a hot place, this kid is able to enjoy the movement and journey, then why I can't do that? Moreover, it was just the dust on my pants, which can easily be washed away. So there is no point of being irritated. So I stopped being irritated and I would enjoy the journey and enjoy that movement with kids. Now the second thing is, let's say if something breaks, then instead of being irritated, you can learn from it that life is not permanent. So you are here for a limited period of time. And after some time, we all have to leave this place. Now when you will remind this to yourself, you'll see that you got a great lesson in exchange for a small loss. And this would help you live your life consciously again. Now this doesn't mean that if your child does something wrong, you will just ignore that. This is just to keep yourself calm so that you can think logically and act wisely in that situation. And think about how you can teach your kid not to repeat that behavior again. Therefore, it's as important to work on yourself as on your kids. The last and the most important thing that you should remember is follow rules religiously and every single time. That means that you're not just creating rules, you are implementing them also. Let's take an example. Let's say you go to a market with your kids and you have a rule that if he's going with you to the market, he would behave properly, and if he wants something, he can ask for it, but he would not scream and shout or throw tantrum in the market. If he does that, you will straight away come back and will never take him to the market again. Now you have to follow this rule every single time. Otherwise, your kid won't take you seriously. And this applies in every situation. Whenever you say or create a rule, follow that. Because only then he would start respecting your words. This is exactly what the best parenting style, that is authoritative parenting style, does. So it not only creates rules but also makes sure that kids follow them. Now these rules won't be easy for your kids to follow. They would get angry, they would get frustrated and say, why do we have this rule system in our house? Nobody else has it. My friends don't have it. So what you can do is you can share this video with your friends and families so that they also start implementing rules, and then your kid won't be able to complain. Another thing that you can do is you can say that this is our family tradition and every family has its own traditions. So it would be unfair to compare what we are doing with other families, because there would be a lot of things that we are doing that they might not be doing. So friends, that is all for today. If you found the content helpful, do like, comment and share our video, and don't forget to subscribe our channel, as we would be keep coming up with new videos on parenting. Thank you.